So my name's Powell. I'm an entrepreneur. I run multiple different businesses. My main bread and butter is to really help other entrepreneurs with their personal branding and getting visible, getting in front of the press, getting media, helping them with their PR. But I also run a community organisation that helps young people with performing arts and providing a safe space, as it were, for them to engage in the arts. I also run a children's salon, spa, and I also do events, consultancy and events across the region. Yeah, I started my entrepreneurial journey like at a very young age, and I didn't even realise what I was doing. So 7 years old, I think it was, me and my twin brother Pelly, shout out Pelly, was bored, and we just wanted to engage in creative art some way, somehow. So we decided that we was going to create a talent show, and we grew up in very humble beginnings, in a city area of Birmingham, single parent, 7 kids, 6 of which were boys, and we just was inquisitive about the arts and about creative arts, but there wasn't really a safe space for us to, I guess, engage in arts practice. So we decided we was going to create our own talent show, and we did. We found like a derelict garage, probably about 50 yards from where we lived. I remember just gutting out that garage, and I remember just creating a space for people to come in and perform. I remember like putting bricks on the floor for people to sit on, and I remember going out and getting the talent and people coming. And then I just remember just kind of standing and watching these young kids perform at this talent show, and people were in there, and they paid us like 50 pence or something stupid to come in and watch this show, and probably had no more than like 20 audience members in there. And I just remember thinking, wow, this is incredible. And fast forward to today, like that's kind of what I do. Executive roles are really important, because I think what it does, it takes you from a operational kind of person to more a strategical kind of visionary, and it's great for like building your network and your profile and so forth. And I think for me, I've always been a great network, and it actually interlinks with one of the other questions that you had. So when I was working at the Drum, I was then headhunted to do events for an organisation called, at the time, Marketing Birmingham. It's now called the West Midlands Growth Company, and I was kind of headhunted to head their events up, and their events were like the city's events. So all the kind of major corporates will come to these events, and I was obviously doing the guest list for them and working at them and making sure that it was all right and stuff like that. So I did a stint there for like maybe 4 or 5 years of just straight networking, heading up their events, blah blah blah. So of course at that point I was networking and liaising with some of these top executives from some of these major organisations. So they started to get to know who I was, and they started to call me and message me about these events and the invites and so forth. And so when I decided that I was leaving work and I was going to work for myself, I launched my own events management business, but then went back to that organisation and said, look, well, I'm not coming back to work for you, I'm going to do them under my own consultancy business. And they were like, cool. So then I was a lot more confident then, and then I started to speak a lot more and talk a lot more to some of these executives that I was still doing these events for. And they kind of was like, okay, we like you, we like what you're about, you're running your own business, we really like this, do you mind sitting on the board for some of these organisations? I was like, cool, it makes sense, because it's giving me a seat at the table. And I think it's not about having a seat at the table, it's about what are you doing with that seat, and how does you sitting at that table benefit your community? And that's what I bring all the time. Like when I'm sitting at these seats, I'm like, I'm occupying this seat, how is it benefiting my community? I don't want to be somebody that just sits there for the fun of it, and I'm not doing nothing that benefits the community. It has to benefit people that look like me. I think it's really important that people from different backgrounds see themselves in roles, in these creative roles, so then they can then say, I can do that. And I think that's why I try and be as visible as possible, particularly to my community. I want them to see a black male who has come from the end, and I'm not saying in no way, shape or form that I was a bad boy from the end, but at the same time I still came from a deprived area that was riddled with poverty and gangs and violence, and actually I wanted something different for my life. And it's really important that children from disadvantaged backgrounds, particularly the black children who are at home now, who are in the end thinking, actually, I don't have to go down this path, I can go down this path, and still be successful. And that's why I do what I do, that's why I'm so visible, and that's why I try and be visible, and that's why I try and be a voice, because I just think it's hell important. Yes, I've reached a level of success where I'm not happy with it at all. I think there's more that I can do, but where I'm comfortable. And I just think that actually we can do more, and we can do more to help the next generation, particularly who don't feel like they can do what I'm doing. Of course you can. Like, anyone can do what I'm doing. It's not hard at all. All it takes is just consistency and hard work and just believing in yourself. And a lot of it is that confidence. A lot of it is, am I confident enough to do this? Am I confident to go in this room and be my authentic self in front of these people, and they'll be okay with it? And the answer is yeah. Like, you don't have to change. You can still occupy some of these spaces, but still be your authentic self. And I think that's what people just need to realise, that they don't have to switch up completely. They don't have to be like, oh, I don't want to sell myself out. I don't want to, like, you don't have to. You can still go to these spaces and still be yourself, but obviously you just have to know how to navigate them. I love anything creative. Like, I just love creative worlds, and the creative industry is a massive, like, multi-billion-pound industry, and I think people don't realise the extent of it. And people think of creativity and they just think, oh, it's the arts, or it's this or it's that, but they don't realise that there's tech that falls under it. There's catering, chefing, like there's designing, like there's clothing, like the brand, like there's building brands. Is just absolutely incredible. I think one of the roles what I've really loved to see over the last, I would probably say 5 years, is actually my guy Noel from Gymshark. Not Ben. Ben's sick guy, but Noel is like the chief branding officer, and what he's done for the brand of Gymshark has just been phenomenal. What him and his team has done, and the vision behind kind of some of the campaigns that he's done and delivered. I just love anything that really creates feeling, and that's what the Gymshark brand does. It creates feeling. So you don't just see it, you feel something when you look at it, you feel something when you wear it. So when I wear Gymshark in the gym, I'm like, oh my god, like, this is like, it's just a different type of feeling, and it's not because of anything to do with the texture or the clothes or the fit or anything like that. It literally is the brand that they've created, and I love things like that. It's a bit like Apple. Like, I love how they've created that feeling when you purchase an Apple, or when you use an Apple, or anything like that. Like, it's just that feeling. So I do a lot of media work, and media work is a big part of kind of like the true Powell brand, if you like, and what I do. And I initially got involved in media work because I created a children's salon, and it was the first of its kind. It was an amazing business, and it it divided opinions, and a TV program to discuss it. And on that show, the producers were like, you were incredible, can we please contact you for certain things? I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. At that point I just thought they were gassing. I just thought, yeah, whatever, like, but they were true to their word, and they contacted me for different things, and then they later contacted me and was like, cool, we really like your input, we really like your expertise, can we talk to you about different topics and different things? And I'm like, that's fine. Like, again, I thought they were gassing, but no, there wasn't. And they like call me, and now I'm actually friends with some of the producers from different channels, and some of the journalists from different news organisations and stuff, and they just constantly ask me for my opinions, my expertise, and I'm happy to provide it, particularly if it's around subjects that are close to my heart and subjects that matter and subjects that I feel qualified to speak on. It's really important that we have positive black role models that are in media spaces, that are shown on TV, that are their voices are on the radio, and that they're giving their opinions, and that their voices are heard.